The rain wasn't just falling, it was attacking the jungle, hammering down like a million tiny bullets. Below us, a flooded basin churned and bubbled, the dark water hiding something massive, something ancient, moving just beneath the surface. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the storm's fury. Beside me, Jox was a statue, his eyes wide with a primal fear I knew was mirrored in my own. The water swelled, rising in a terrifying wave, rolling straight for us. We were trapped. Then it happened. The water exploded upward, and a nightmare uncoiled itself from the depths. An anaconda. But not just any anaconda. This thing was colossal, its body as thick as an old-growth tree trunk, muscles rippling like waves under a sheath of armored, glistening scales. It rose higher and higher, a living tower of death. I stumbled backward, my hand instinctively finding the cold, hard comfort of the flare gun at my hip. My fingers were numb, shaking so badly I could barely keep my grip. The serpent's head, larger than a man, swidged slowly, its forked tongue tasting the rain-soaked air, searching, hunting. As if one monster wasn't enough, the jungle itself seemed to answer. A heavy, earth-shaking rhythm began to pulse through the mud. Tooth, tooth, thud. It was a sound that vibrated deep in your bones, a sound of impossible weight and power. We spun around, and through the dense curtain of trees and rain, a shape emerged that shattered all logic. A Tyrannosaurus Rex. It ripped through the tree line, splintering ancient trees like matchsticks, and let out a roar so deafening the world went silent. Every bird, every insect, every living thing just vanished. This T-Rex was a veteran of 1,000 battles, its hide a roadmap of scars, its eyes burning with a starving, world-ending rage. The two titans froze, and for a heartbeat, the entire jungle held its breath. The Anaconda lifted its head even higher, a dark spire against the stormy sky, its unblinking eyes fixed on the new arrival. The T-Rex lowered its massive head, its gaze locking onto the serpent like a tank sighting its target. The air grew thick, heavy with the promise of violence. Then, with the explosive force of a detonating bomb, the fight began. The Anaconda struck first. It was a blur of motion, a whip-crack of muscle and scale, its fangs sinking deep into the T-Rex's powerful leg. The dinosaur bellowed in a symphony of pain and fury, and retaliated instantly. Its massive jaws, lined with teeth like railroad spikes, slammed down hard on the serpent's body. Mud and water erupted into the air as they crashed into the basin, two living weapons thrashing in a maelstrom of violence. It was a battle of legends, a clash that defied nature itself. The T-Rex, driven by sheer brute force, began to drag the enormous snake across the flooded ground. The Anaconda's powerful tail whipped back and forth, smashing trees to pulp, trying desperately to anchor itself and pull the dinosaur off balance. Sheets of water and mud sprayed everywhere, obscuring the brutal dance. Neither predator would give an inch. They were perfectly matched forces of destruction, each refusing to be the one to break. Then, the Anaconda changed tactics. In a movement that was terrifyingly fast and brutally efficient, it coiled. The thick, muscular loops slid around the T-Rex's chest and neck, a living trap snapping shut. The squeeze began, a slow, relentless pressure like tightening steel cables. The dinosaur's roar turned into a choked, strangled gasp. It clawed at the mud, its powerful legs struggling for purchase, its entire body trembling with the strain. You could see the life being crushed out of it. But just as its eyes began to glaze over, a surge of pure, primal fury erupted from within. It wasn't going down without a fight. That's when I saw it. A flicker of light in the mud, a crashed drone, half submerged, its internal components sparking feebly in the rain. An idea, desperate and insane, flashed in my mind. "The battery!" I gasped, my voice barely a whisper against the storm and the sounds of the struggle. Jox didn't need a second look. He tore open his pack, his hands frantic, and pulled out a standard road flare. Time was running out. We worked with a desperate, synchronized panic. Our fingers, clumsy with cold and fear, taped the red flare to the drone's lithium-ion battery cell. Behind us, the sounds of the fight were reaching a crescendo. The T-Rex, with a final burst of strength, bit down again, shaking its head violently to break the suffocating coils. The snake's grip slipped for a fraction of a second, but then it snapped tight again, doubling down trying to finish the kill. There was no more time. I snatched the makeshift bomb and ran. I ran closer to the battling titans than any sane person should, my heart hammering a rhythm that was louder than the thunder. The Anaconda, sensing a final victory, reared its head back, its massive jaws opening wide for a crushing, final bite on the dinosaur's neck. In that singular terrifying moment, I hurled our creation with all my strength, aiming straight for that gaping, dark maw. The result was instantaneous. A blinding, searing flash of white light punched through the gloom, followed by a concussive boom that shook the very air. The Anaconda recoiled violently, its head whipping back as if struck by lightning. The constricting coils went slack, and the colossal serpent crashed backward into the water with a monumental splash. The T-Rex, freed from the death grip, gulped in huge, ragged breaths of air. It let out a triumphant, guttural roar and, without a moment's hesitation, charged. It drove the stunned and wounded Anaconda deeper and deeper into the dark water, disappearing beneath the churning surface. The chaos subsided. The churning water grew still, and then went quiet. The only sound was the steady drumming of the rain. Jox and I stood there, gasping for air, our lungs burning as if we'd been reborn. We had survived. We had witnessed the impossible and lived. A shaky laugh escaped my lips. Then, slowly, deliberately, the TRX's massive head re-emerged from the dark water. It turned, its movements calm and measured, until its ancient, intelligent eyes locked directly onto us. The triumph of a moment ago vanished, replaced by a cold, creeping dread. I looked at Jox, my voice a hollow whisper that was swallowed by the jungle. We didn't win. We just got noticed.